Hey there, my friends. What's up? Derek from Bomb Socks here with another edition of Bomb Bites, feasting upon the words of Christ, one amazing bite at a time. So we are in Alma 36 today, and Alma 36 is a super cool chapter for so many different reasons. Our goal here is to spend one day here today and then another day tomorrow. Today I want to get into a little bit of the structure, the literary structure of Alma 36, and you'll see, and some of you are very familiar with this, and those of you who aren't, it'll be just kind of cool either way. So one of the things that will help you is this quick little video that was done by our friends over at Book of Mormon Central, and you'll love this. It explains perfectly what this chapter is all about. So enjoy. So it's kind of cool, this idea of a chiasmus or a chiasm. Chapter 36 is written in a very chiastic structure. Let me show you what that means. So as you look at this little thing right here, Alma used the ancient Hebrew literary style of chiasm to teach his own son Helaman about his own repentance and conversion, which we'll get into that point tomorrow. But if you look at this right here, if you look at position A, so that is verse number 1 and verse number 30. So the very first verse and the very last verse. So verse number 1 says, "My son, give ear to my words, for I swear unto you that inasmuch as ye shall keep the commandments of God, ye shall prosper in the land." So you've got this idea of keeping the commandments will give you opportunities to prosper. You go now down to verse number 30. "But behold, my son, this is not all. For you ought to know, as I do know, that inasmuch as ye shall keep the commandments of God, ye shall prosper in the land. And you ought to know that inasmuch as ye will not keep the commandments of God, ye shall be cut off from his presence." Now, this is according to his word. So you see that right there. That very first one, you keep the commandments, you'll prosper in the land. You go down to verse number 30, it teaches the same thing. Now, going back to this little chart right here, you go to verse 2, and then compare it to verses 28 and 29. You go to verse 3, you compare it to 27. 4 and 5 to 26, 6 and 24, and so forth till you get to the middle. So I would invite you to just take a minute and really just look at it. You don't have to get deep into the storyline, but I just want you to see the comparisons here, and it is awesome. So feel free and pause the video, check it out, and we'll come back and hit one more quick thing. Now, one of the coolest things about the whole chiasmus is where it meets in that little middle section right there, that climax of the story, is you witness Alma bearing testimony about Jesus Christ. And you find a lot of them that are very much like that. I saw someone one time suggest to me that the entire Book of Mormon itself could be very chiastic in nature. So you go back to 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 20, when I've mentioned this verse before as kind of being a really strong thesis statement of the Book of Mormon. "But behold, I, Nephi, will show unto you that the tender mercies of the Lord are over all those whom he hath chosen because of their faith, to make them mighty even unto the power of deliverance." So we brought up that verse before. Here you got a prophet talking about, as you study this book, you will notice the mercies of the Lord. Now you go all the way to the very end to Moroni chapter 10. You go to verse number 3. Look at verse number 3. "But behold, I would exhort you that when ye shall read these things, if it be wisdom and God that you should read them, that you would remember how merciful the Lord hath been unto the children of men, even from the creation of Adam, even down to the time that you received these things and pondered in your hearts." So you've got two prophets right there saying, in this book, you will see the mercies of God. And then everything builds up to that. So that's just a little example of the chiasm. And again, there, as you're listening to the chiasm idea, you're probably just like, that's fantastic, wonderful, so what? Which I'm totally okay with that. The idea there is, for me personally, it's a testimony that a 14-year-old boy did not write this book. There's no way that an uneducated or very limited educated 14-year-old boy could have written this with this type of structure. And so this is a testimony to me that this is a translated work, that prophets of God wrote these down and Joseph Smith translated it through the gift and power of God. So it's kind of a cool little thing right there. Now, tomorrow we're going to get into Alma 36, the actual storyline, and it is awesome. I absolutely love it. So hope you love it too. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. You have an amazing day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Godspeed. Bye-bye.